We're live. So, welcome back to the Hold Founders Lab podcast. Today I'm here with Mr. Taylor, who is on the Hold Founders Lab board, and I'm also here with Mr. Keita, who is a workaholic. And he's a he's a workaholic. Would you agree, Keita? Workaholic?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, but yeah, sure. I can.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself then?
I mean, workaholic is one of them too, but also I'm a person that's more like a strategist. I would say, like, I love to plan stuff.
Okay.
And I also have like really, how do you say, like I always come up with good plans, and which I would say 99.9% works.
Good.
So,
That's a pretty good raise.
So yeah, I would say myself as a strategist.
So a lot of planning, a lot of analyzing beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair with you, I'm the type of person that, I mean, I can't really like improvise in the sense that when I put in the spot, if I don't have like a thorough plan or like any type of plan, I'll be like, okay, what am I gonna say now in a way? So I've always like anything, even if I woke up and go to the bathroom, I always like plan what am I gonna do there in a way. So that's why I always like plan stuff, even if it's like something. Something
Do you see yourself then?
No. This is just to give you guys some context. The guys that are listening, to give you some context. Keita was just telling me before his body is shutting down because he's overworking. So that's why I wanted to ask him about the workaholic stuff. Also, just for future reference, if there's any like villains out there listening, just hire Keita if you're trying to invade Moscow or Russia. Because if he has a success rate of 99%, I'd use Keita to
I mean, that's based on the feedback I got, you know. So that's why, you know, I'm just saying the fact.
Hey, so we'll roll with it.
What was the one plan that failed? Because you said 99%. So which one failed?
Good question.
Just like like not unexpected situation, in a sense that.
So it's force majeure.
Like I would say, like, for example, let's say in presentations, situation, like I've always planned myself, so I'm super confident about like what I present, and also the Q&A and stuff too, and I'll also kind of prepare like, okay, what type of question will come out in a way, but maybe there's just one question that just throws me off, and I'll be like, I didn't research about that. So
I think it's a great strategy in that way. Like, I enjoy presentations as well, but I always prepare. Like, as in, I have some sort of agenda in my mind, I have some bullet points, I know what I'm going to do, also the questions.
Yeah.
However, as you said, you know, if you don't leave a bit of leeway, when you're going to be thrown a curveball, you're exactly as you said, you're going to be like, like, that's a problem that I see with a lot of people, is that they prepare so much, but they almost like memorize what they're going to say. So if somebody throws them off with something completely new, they're not prepared for that, because their mind tries to find that information, but you don't have it, and so that's when you panic.
I think that's kind of like one of my weaknesses too, I would say, because kind of like over planning, because sometimes like even if you go with the flow too, that's kind of a really good strategy in the sense that, you know, because especially when the topic is vague in a way, like you can't really plan anything, so you just need to go with your guts and just like try to like understand like the situation well too. I mean, that's sometimes I kind of need to fix it in a way. Like, I mean, planning is nice so that you're prepared. Sometimes you just need to leave the space, like, you know, like you said, we mentioned, like, leave some space for like, I would say, creativity in a way, because you can't really plan those type of stuff.
Of course. So, I mean, could you describe to us one time where you've been in a situation where you had to improvise and you weren't prepared for it like you usually would? Could you describe what happened through your mind in that period?
I mean, to be very ill, like there's this one situation where, I mean, it's kind of like classic example too, like group work. I think everyone in Halt has done group work too. Everyone knows how group actually works at Halt, by the way, so it's a different context. As always, I always the one person that always kind of like the proactive one was like get the teams together. I'm like, guys, we need to do this. Then there's okay. And there's always someone.
And me.
There's because like, I mean, it's
not Taylor. I mean, he's the guy waiting.
And it's just like,
it depends, you know. If somebody wants to take the lead, you know, I'll be like, sure, mate, go for it.
That's the thing.
But if no one does, I will definitely step up.
It depends on the team dynamics. Like if we have like 2 or 3 leaders too, like kind of like have a strong personality of leaders. What's the point? So I'll just back up and like, okay, clearly you guys want to lead, so I'm just gonna. Like,
some people have the humility and empathy to do that. Some people are just not capable of doing it.
Exactly.
And in those moments, I think you should be the bigger person and just back off.
I think for me it's just like a conflict of interest too. Like if someone who wants to be like to lead in a way, and I'll be like, okay, if you want to lead, please feel free. Like I'm just gonna like follow your guidance, I guess. But then if
it's good guidance.
But then if there's no one like who wants to lead, I'm like, okay, then I'll lead, as we always say. But as always, like most of my group project, like most of the people kind of let me down too. They don't do the work, can't even like bother to answer the message in the group. So we ended up just like most of the work just like me doing it on like my 2 or 3 people that just want to do it too. Maybe also during presentation, like some people just don't know what to present, even if I already told them like, okay, this is what you're gonna present, and they just
gave it to them and they
excuse me my word, but just ruin it in a way. So I think in that situation I'm like, okay, I'm aware that he's not gonna perform well, so I need to kind of like take over. So
this is such a funny thing, because there's so many tangents there to being a founder, or to have a startup, or to just in the business environment in general, which is a bit different, I would say, than studying. Because you can control the parameters more accurately when you're in the business environment, or when you're in a startup, because you can build your own teams, or you can at least choose for motivated people who all want to achieve the goal.
I mean, like one thing too, like I'm by the way, I'm Indonesian, so we have this kind of like culture of like everyone's motivated too, but then everyone's too motivated in the sense that if there's failure, then like they just get super down. I think I don't know. I mean, there's a term for it, like this kind of like the Asian value, or like the Asian culture in a way. Like so, like I kind of treat failure as kind of like the end, I would say. So rather than like, because for me like that's like a toxic culture. For me, like whenever you fail, like you take that as a learning. Okay, good. This is why. Okay, I need to analyze why I failed, and so that I'm not gonna make the same mistake. Then most of like the people in my culture, they just treat failure as like that's it, like it's kind of like similar to death in a way. So
because it's shameful, no? As in like
exactly.
You didn't achieve. I mean, I've heard, you probably know this way better than me. I mean, you do, but I heard that this is a common theme in Asia, and that is also why it is hard to foster entrepreneurial spirit in those places.
100%.
Because there is this. I mean, of course. Let's say you are a 23-year-old living in Indonesia, you just, let's say, finished your degree, and you would like to start your own company, but obviously you fail, because you're gonna have failures around the road. The shame that you get from your parents is insane. You went to college for 4 years, and now you're starting your own thing, and you're not achieving in that thing. Well, I don't see you as successful. I see you as a failure. And obviously it is a really bad thing, because it shuts down people that want to perform better. So let me give an example. Italy is very similar in a certain way. So I grew up in the south of Italy, small little town, 20,000 people. And the culture there has always been that everybody should be equal to each other. Okay. What I mean by that is that like, if everyone is working at the same level, and you want to achieve more in your life, you want to succeed more, you want to work harder to achieve more things. If you were before at the average level as everyone else, and now you're trying to go above average, people will start looking down upon you. They'll be like, who are you? Why should you succeed compared to everyone else?
That's interesting.
Like they don't see the fact that you're working hard, that you're trying to better yourself, and you're gonna fail along the way, but that's pretty normal. I mean, it seems normal, right? But the whole point is like, they think that you become arrogant the moment you start working towards your goals and towards your ambitions in life. And it's not the same thing in Asia, but it's similar. And then like failure is stigmatized so much as it's taboo.
That's interesting. It's kind of like in Asia, like failure is kind of like the toxic culture, but then in Italy, from what I understand, like if you kind of like overachieving in a way, like you want more, that's kind of like the toxic culture, I would say too. That's
Rich people, for example, are looked down upon. This happens in France as well, by the way.
This is a very Scandinavian concept
As well, yes.
And it's even a thing, and you can look it up. It's janteloven.
Okay.
So basically, you're not allowed to be better than anyone else, or at least not showcase it.
And not show
So
it.
it's a culture of mediocrity and like average. So it's about raising the low
Yeah.
to an extent where there's no big difference between the lows and the highs.
Okay.
And that sucks because you end up with 100% mediocre people,
I agree.
and no people innovating, no people doing extraordinary stuff, and it's just unsustainable. I mean, imagine if you had a business where you wanted everyone to be
Better
the same position.
Okay.
You want everyone to do the same thing in a business.
Yeah.
What? You can't have a business doing where everybody does the same thing, or where nobody is supposed to outperform. That doesn't work.
I've always been a really true believer of competition, as in like this thing of everybody mediocre is pretty common throughout Europe because we're based on socialist values.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
after
no,
World War
we
II,
come from serfdom where you're supposed to be owned by someone.
Exactly. No, but it was also like, after World War II, fascism in Europe went down, and so the whole continent became very left-winged in the sense that everybody should be, have equal rights, everybody should be the same. But it calcified so much to the point where now it's ingrained into the culture, and this kills entrepreneurship. Like, look in the US. In the US, it's a very individualistic society. Everybody for themselves. So people that actually achieve more are seen as, something to look up to, rather than criticize.
Yeah, there's a great quote about that sort of entrepreneurial spirit of the US, where it's that every poor person in America is just a temporarily estranged millionaire.
I honestly also believe
it's about social mobility and being able to just make something from nothing, and then the next day your life can change. Which is that's the purest form of entrepreneurship. Right?
You know what somebody will tell you? Like, basically you're telling people to, lace your boots up, or like put your boots on and start working, right? But like some people say, some people don't even have boots to lace up. You know what I mean? So that's a counter argument that I hear a lot with people that are against capitalism. They say, oh right, so like capitalism, you can work hard and you can climb the social hierarchy, but some people don't even have the possibility to reach the ladder, to even try to raise that social hierarchy. But I don't believe that.
That's not true.
That's not true. In the US.
If you just go through it in your mind once, it doesn't even make sense. Because you can literally have zero, and then you can just go make something because you're within the confinements of a system where creation is endeared.
Okay, so let's take a real life example. Let's say a homeless person, 35-year-old woman. She's homeless, she's been homeless for 4 years, no college degree, worked a couple of years here and there, been a drug addict for, let's say, 8 years, because she had an accident 8 years ago. The doctor overprescribed her with oxytocin, and now she's hooked. She can't get a job because she's a drug addict. She receives very social benefits from the government, so she doesn't have even enough money to open a bank account or to start renting an apartment, which you need because you need proof of address to be hired by an employer. So some people say, what is she supposed to do?
Okay, number one, quit drugs. You can quit any oxy. You don't die from the.
Okay, obviously she does heroin now. She graduated to the drug.
Okay, so you're just adding obstacles. Anyway, you can get free treatment for drug addiction by NGOs, and there are NGOs 100%. There are free treatment centers in the US as well, because there is an opioid epidemic. So you can quit drugs. That's number one. You have to take responsibility. You can't just be lifted into the system and start being successful. You have to make decisions. So number one, quit drugs. Number two, you can get sorry, excuse the language, but you have to start from the bottom. If you're below the bottom, you have to start on the bottom, because that's the next step in your path. And so you have what you can be a trash woman, maybe you can pick trash. You can go ask a restaurant if you can wash their dishes. They'll give you $25 maybe, and then
But
you have
yet
to just
again,
start doing those kind of things.
But you can't get hired even at that job because you don't
Yeah,
have
you
a
get
bank
hired.
account.
You get hired in the called the. I mean, you're not being employed by a big corporation. You're just walking up to.
But that is like a step up game from what she was in the start.
How can illegal immigrants get jobs? They don't have proof of address. They don't have a social security. They don't have anything. They just go up and, hey, do you need help? Give me $20. I'll clean your house.
And how are they living?
Exactly.
Exactly, not well.
They're doing pretty well.
I mean, if you're working in black and you have 4 children and a wife, you're not doing well. Most illegal immigrants in the US are doing okay. Okay, to be fair, it's true. A lot go in the middle class. And by the way, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here.
Yeah,
I totally agree with everything
absolutely.
that you said.
I'm just saying you have to start.
Yeah.
You can't expect to go. You can't expect from being a drug addict, living on the street for 8 years, and then the next thing you're gonna do is get a haircut, and then you go into Procter & Gamble and become a sales rep.
I don't think anybody's expecting
No,
that.
I'm just saying you
like,
can't. You have to, if you're outside the system and you're below zero,
you have to get back in.
you have to get back into zero.
Yeah.
And the first step, if you're a drug addict, you have to quit drugs. That's number one.
I think we've really touched a really good kind of team here, which is kind of like being realistic. I think it's something that I would say entrepreneurship too could kind of like go around this, because sometimes people, I mean, I kind of agree with the point like you kind of need to dream high, kind of like go with the crazy idea too, but kind of like always remember like in any pitch, any like competition, the most simple idea is always the winner. And I think we could also kind of relate back to like being realistic. Like, is there something realistic? Kind of like the example that we use, you know, like it's not possible if you're like an 8 years drug addict and you, let's say you kind of like healed, but not 100%, and then you kind of got the job, but then there's no way like he or she would get like a sales position.
You can't get a normal job.
Exactly.
You have to start doing the opposite of normal jobs. You have to start doing the
quirky, weird, out of the
really
box
shitty jobs that aren't even considered real jobs, because it's just basically you go up to someone, you're like, hey, can I cut the grass on your lawn for like $20? Like, yeah, whatever, cut my grass.
Hustling.
I'll give you. Yeah, you have to start hustling. You have to start hustling. That's the essence of everything we're going to be talking about, and it's you have to hustle.
Yeah.
So you have to do whatever it takes, because that's the one thing. And I got asked this the other day. I was at the so I'm plugging someone here, but the Marylebone Entrepreneur Club. They're at the University of Westminster. We're in London, by the way, for those that didn't know. So Westminster, London, and 2 guys came up to me because there was this was a workshop on tech startups. I'm in a tech startup, so I thought it relevant, and they were talking about how do you get a CTO when you have nothing, or should you hire one, should you pay for it, what should you do in terms of getting a CTO. And what I always tell people is, if you want to run a tech startup, you shouldn't even be thinking about CTOs until you have an MVP, because you have to hustle, you have to grind, you have to protect. Even if you have money, you have to think like you have $0 in your bank account when you're doing tech, because everybody's doing tech now. And you can make an MVP for an app or for a website for $0 as long as your time is free. Yeah. Okay. So you spend 2-3 weeks, a month maybe, and you make an MVP, and we're going to be talking about that more later. But you make your MVP, and then you have to, and then you can leverage that, because now suddenly your idea has some more value. It has some substance, because you can show a product. And this is instead of, for example, giving 50% of your company or your idea to a CTO when you have nothing. You have to get into the hustle, and you make something out of nothing first for free. Takes you only time, no code required. This is for those who aren't developers. And then you can come up to a CTO. You can even get customers or partnerships with that free thing you just made, and you can leverage that into getting a CTO for maybe 10% of your company. Or you can even get customers and get funding, and then you can just pay someone to make the app after you've shown the MVP. So this is just an example of how different perspectives on how you can hustle. And so this was just one specific where I got the question from some guys after this event. They were asking me, because I said this at the event, and they were like, yeah, I think you're 100% right. I mean, they told me, I don't think you should do this. I think a lot of these tech people overvalue themselves because they know that people can't be bothered to do these things or think outside the box. So I think there seems to be a problem with people mindset. Not hustling,
it's
not
mindset.
grinding. Yeah.
It's definitely mindset. Like if you have a scarcity mindset, then you will find ways to make, 100 kilos of bread out of 1 kilo of flour. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like if you know how to be resourceful, and if you know how to carry on a project with very little resources, and then imagine what you can achieve when you actually have those funds, when you actually have the money to go across. So I think it depends, like at the end of the day, it's mindset, I think.
Absolutely, and you see this all the time with people coming from nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They usually become the most successful, or people who face the most adversity are the ones that become most successful because they've been at the end of the line.
Yeah.
Their entire life they're living on the edge.
Yeah.
And I mean, the people are always talking about, I'm at the end of the line because you don't have any more money this month or whatever. There's an entire country at the fucking edge of the line where people are living, and the people who are living there for a long period of time, those are the people who catapult to the other side when they're given an opportunity because they know how to maximize. Because that's what they're maximizing. That's the scarcity mindset. You're maximizing everything. So if you have a pound, you don't go buy something. You don't go buy something for a pound. That's just one thing. You buy the materials and then you make 10 things, just like you were saying.
You know what I noticed also is I've been watching like a bunch of interviews, documentaries and stuff, and something really struck me. There was this travel photographer, and he was in Patagonia in that time, and he went to live into a very rural family that was very, very poor. They were farmers. They had cattle and whatever. They were farming, but you could tell that they were not doing the best. They were very poor, and this photographer started asking this little kid, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do? And he looked at him like he asked the most crazy question in the world, and he said, I'm going to be a farmer, like my dad. So a lot of people go into that mindset that it's a bit of like victim, or not necessarily victim, but powerless. As in, my fate has already been decided, like I already know what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to be. And when you start believing into that, that's what happens. The only people that I have seen that have gone from homeless, and you can find this online, there's plenty of interviews, there's plenty of YouTubers and people that explain to you the life that they've done from homeless person up until millionaire, also billionaire sometime. The guy of Ciroc, I think he used to be homeless, There's a lot of people that have created these amazing brands and they used to be at a very low level. And the only thing that I feel was common between all of these people that started from nothing and arrived to something is that they absolutely believed in it. 100%. They felt it, they envisioned it. And you can find examples of this in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. You can find this in the success. I mean, look at the law of attraction. What you believe becomes. And it's...
I'm not sure if that's 100% the thing, but it is.
It's called the law for a reason, because it's also in physics. It is connected to the natural world.
Oh yeah, it is connected. It is a physical thing, but if it's a success thing, I think there's more of a manifestation of your habits. That's more of the thing I think we're talking about.
Of course.
There,
So like you also, I mean, if you just believe
trust me,
in it,
I am.
No, for sure. I know you are.
Yeah.
But it's in like, if you believe in it, that you're going to be a millionaire, but then you spend 14 hours a day smoking weed, playing video games, eating Cheetos, well, my friend, you're not really believing in it. Because if you're totally 100% believe, like close your eyes and envision who you are in 15 years from now. Envision all the details, where you are, who you're talking to, who's your family, who's your friends, what type of person are you, how are you acting. Envision that type of person that you want to be. close your eyes and literally see yourself in that position. Feel how your body would feel. Feel how your feet feel on the floor, you know? Everything of this sort is extremely powerful because it conditions your brain into believing that you already have that and you do it.
Exactly.
And
that's the important thing. Condition it. You need to practice visualizing yourself. Visualization, you need to practice it. It's a skill. It's not something you're given. It's a skill. I mean, when I started my career many years ago, that was, sorry, not 20 years ago, but like,
no, many
years ago.
Many,
yeah, but many. That's I sound like I'm a pensioner.
No.
When I was a young guy,
when I used to be 7 years old,
selling newspapers in 1975. I didn't know how to visualize. People are talking about visualization all the time. When I was working in sales, they're like, "Oh, you have to visualize yourself doing selling the 100%."
Like, what does it even mean? You know,
like, what are you talking about? I'm here now. I'm trying to get through these sales. Stop bothering me with like thinking about when I succeed. I'm like at 0. I need to go to 100. It's a long way, but you have to do that even before you start. And you have to keep on practicing it because it really is a skill. And talking about just. This is the thing, 100% belief and just dedication. For those of you who haven't heard this story, you have to go read it. Many of you might have heard it from before, but it's about the U.S. Girl Scouts. Have you heard the story about? So it's about this girl.
Like so many cookies.
No, it's about one. No, it's about one specific Girl Scout, and this is many years ago now. But she's called Elizabeth Brinton. And she's known now as the Cookie Queen. So, and I remember the first time I heard the story was from the CEO of an advertising agency.
Wait, why is that? Why was she called the Cookie Queen?
No, that's what I'm going to tell you. So that's the story. So you know the Girl Scouts, they go and they sell cookies for fundraising.
Right.
She's crazy. So one year, and she wanted to set the record. So there's like a competition within the Girl Scouts, like who can sell the most boxes of cookies. And the boxes sell for about, I think it's not a lot. It's a donation thing. So it's like $3-4 per box. But nonetheless, she sold more than 18,000 boxes.
Oh my God.
And I think it's
That's
in
amazing.
1 month.
In 1 month, 18,000 boxes?
Yep.
Okay, I want to know the strategy of this Girl Scout, because she knows what the fuck she's doing. I'm going to tell you that. Like, if a 10-year-old girl can sell 18,000 boxes, okay, where is this? Do you know the location?
Yeah, I think it was in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah,
so
Rockland.
big rural areas.
I think it's like
suburbs. Okay, that's
in the
good.
suburbs. Mm-hmm. So what she was doing, she was just canvassing. She was knocking on doors, selling these cookies.
Literally.
She was walking every door.
Yeah.
And she sold a box on every door. She sold multiple boxes on every door.
So she sold at 18,000 families.
Somewhere between 10 and 18,000.
Oh my God,
homes.
this girl is like insane.
And she was walking, I don't even know how many hours a day. You guys can look up the specifics, but I just know she sold an insane amount of boxes, 18,000, in a very limited time. And it's just crazy.
That's hard work.
And that's just because she said, I'm going to beat the record this year.
Yeah.
And you can't sell 18,000 cookie boxes if you don't believe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you're going to sell 18,000 cookie boxes. Even if you're looking, I'm going to see if I can find the numbers here, but just the numbers themselves are insane.
I think it's like that belief that like also carries you on, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm sure she got the door slammed in her face a couple of times, you know, saying, no, sorry, we don't want cookies. And maybe more than a couple of times. But she was like, okay, whatever. I know I'm going to reach my goal. I'll just go to the next door now. She wasn't like, oh, he didn't buy a cookie. Was like, does he maybe didn't like how I was approaching him? Or like some people take it also so personally when somebody says no. But maybe sometimes it's just, you know, they don't like your product or they don't have the money for it. Not necessarily personal. It's a tricky situation. Sales, huh?
It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's all about sales. I mean, everything is sales.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Everything is sales. The things you don't think are sales, those are definitely the most sales.
You're always trying to influence people to follow that.
Exactly. That's how the world runs around. It's all about influence, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because we're all benefiting. This is the best time to be alive ever throughout history.
I agree.
No, just Not even from any other perspective, just the facts.
No, it's a fact.
Yeah, just the facts.
Oh my god, I totally agree.
It's crazy. Like, so I'm just trying to look this up. So she also sold cookies, by the way, to the president. This girl.
Okay, well, yeah, I think she went viral. And
no, that was afterwards. That was afterwards. Yeah. And she sold a total of 100,000 boxes while she was a Girl Scout.
My god.
And I'm not sure how long you can be one, but
yeah.
she's crazy. So that's insane. But it's all about this grinding sort of mindset where you have to just go out and get it done. And if there's adversity looking you in the face, brush that thing off.
Yeah.
Unless you're dead, you can always do something.
It's true. I suppose we should leave you guys with that lesson, as in never give up.
That's a good ending.
Believe in yourself and visualize.
In the face of adversity, brush it off. As long as you're not dead, you can always do more.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Next time will be... not too long.
We'll be freewheeling it even next time. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. Give us reviews. Give us some feedback, some comments. We love to know what you think. And we'll see you next time.
Email us if you want to be a guest or if you have someone you think would be a great guest for the show.
Yeah.
See you later. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.